Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. My name is Yawen and I have a 14 months old boy named Cassian and I'm currently pregnant with baby number 2, a little girl. She will be due in less than 3 months in July. Oh, sorry, let me get comfy here because we might be here a while. As you can tell by the title of this video, I will be going over some things that I wish I had known when I was pregnant, or some things that just surprised me about my pregnancies. Since this is my second time around, I feel like I can share some information. And I've had friends ask me like, what surprised you the most about pregnancies, or anything that's like shocking, and then like I can never think of it when I'm being asked, so I decided to like make an Excel spreadsheet over here and list everything that I have experienced. So I'm gonna first go over like little symptoms and body changes, and then I will go over things about like the doctor's appointments that surprised me or I didn't know about, and then I'll go over some miscellaneous items. But as you can tell by the title, some of these things might be TMI, so if you know me in real life, or you're like my dad or something, you should probably not watch this. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I feel like I should have had like a glass of wine or something while I'm doing this, but I'm pregnant, so I can't, so gotta hydrate. Alright, so I want to preface this with, a lot of people think like pregnancy is like a glamorous thing, and people are just glowing when they're pregnant, which I think some people do, but let me just tell you, I personally do not enjoy being pregnant. I do not feel beautiful, and I think that's fine to feel that way. I just honestly love the baby that you get at the end, but I don't really enjoy being pregnant, and I think that's fine to state. So let's first get started with things that I wish I'd known before I got pregnant. Some of these will be just kind of normal. Like the first thing is I didn't know that when you're pregnant you can't eat deli meat, because, or like some soft cheeses. I didn't know you can't eat those because of fear of getting listeria, things like bacterial infection that could affect the baby. So I definitely miss that a lot because I used to love salami. Anyways. And then the next thing is that when you're pregnant, you kind of like always like have a fear of something bad is happening to the baby. Like you'll probably constantly run to the bathroom to wipe, just make sure there's not blood, and then anytime you feel like some kind of wetness, sorry, down there, you like run to the bathroom to make sure it's not blood either. So even though like I haven't experienced a miscarriage or anything like that, like even the second time around, it still is a fear that I have. I think that's just natural. The next thing is when you're pregnant, well, I'm saying like you, but these are like things that happen to me, so it might not apply to everyone. So when you're pregnant, you may get constipated. That's because of all the hormones plus the prenatals that you take can like make you constipated somehow. I don't know why, but that's what my doctor said. So yeah, that is real, like real constipation, like it hurts to not go to the bathroom. But the other side of that is if you try to poop but nothing comes out, and then you sit there for a long time trying, you might get hemorrhoids, which is what happened to me the first time that I was pregnant. But this time I've learned to just, if I can't go, just get up and don't try so hard. So I'm okay so far in this pregnancy, because it was quite embarrassing last time, because when I was delivering the baby I still had a freaking hemorrhoid, and then the nurse was like, let me take a look. I was like, ugh. And then she looked, she's like, oh yeah, it's a hemorrhoid. I was like, I knew that. Anyways, next is your skin. Parts of your skin will darken, such as the nipples. And also, like, I have a little bit of darkening like around my armpits, and of course you get like this black or darker line down your stomach as well. But also something I didn't know is like certain scars, like I've had my belly button pierced a bunch of times, so like around my belly button it got really dark. I think it's mostly because the scar is there, so that is not a cute look. And then also your nips might start to like discharge and have like little crusty things on them when you're pregnant. Yeah, like I guess it's them getting ready to produce milk, doing a trial run, you know. And also you might have a lot of itching around the boob area and the nipples, as well as the stomach, because it's like expanding and your skin is stretching. And then yeah, so most people will get stretch marks. The first time I was pregnant, I applied a lot of lotions and oils to try to avoid having stretch marks, and that didn't really do anything, I don't think, because I still got a lot of stretch marks. But I will say that after a couple of months of having the baby, they do start to lighten and go away, so I'm not really worried about it this time around. And also, like, having stretch marks, I think it's mostly genetics, so even if you put all the best creams and lotions down there, it might not help a whole lot if you're like genetically predisposed to having stretch marks. And there's nothing wrong with having stretch marks anyways. And then next thing is you may snore more for some reason. I don't know, this I haven't like researched this or anything, but that's just what my husband tells me. Like every time, well, these two past times that I've been pregnant, I do tend to snore more, and he has invested in some earplugs for sleeping because of that. And as your baby grows and your belly grows, you will start to get out of breath. I started to get out of breath maybe like in the second trimester, like around 20 weeks or so, when the belly wasn't even that big. So I was surprised at how early I got out of breath. Maybe I'm just out of shape. But like, I think a lot is going on inside, even if you are not showing right away, that it's like pushing your diaphragm up and your stomach up, so you're easily out of breath. And also as the baby grows, you will feel like sometimes like you're squishing your baby if you're sleeping on your side, and then you feel like a kick on the side of your stomach, you'll feel like you're squishing your baby all the time. But rest assured that they are quite comfy and snug in your belly, and then you're not actually squishing them, but it just literally feels like you're squishing them. Yeah, so when you're pregnant, you also have varicose veins to look forward to. I don't know if they're exactly varicose veins, but you'll have like these big old veins running through your chest, your boobs, down your stomach, and they are not cute, and they should go away after the baby comes in. I don't know if it has anything to do with like the increased blood flow or anything that causes them, but yeah, like just look like a little road map all on your chest. And another thing probably no one told you is when you're pregnant, you're not actually eating for two, like in the calorie sense. You're not doubling your calorie intake, so you can't really just eat whatever you want, like some people have led me to believe before I was pregnant. You know, like people keep saying, oh yeah, when you're pregnant there are no rules, you can just eat whatever you want. But no, you're only supposed to eat, I think, like maybe like 400 or 500 more calories than you were eating prior to being pregnant. So that's not a whole lot of increase there. So yeah, so sorry about that. And your doctor also does not want you to gain a whole lot of weight either. So there's a limit to how much you can eat and how much weight your doctor recommends you to gain during pregnancy. And also, I was looking kind of forward to having cravings and like having Will, my husband, go run to the store in the middle of the night. But I like don't have any cravings. I didn't have any the first time around or this time around. I just thought everyone had cravings. I was kind of excited to see what kind of weird cravings I would have, but it never came. Next is that when you're further along in your pregnancy, maybe like second, third trimester, you'll feel a throbbing pain in your pelvic area. Like right now, it feels like anytime I like move or change positions while I sleep, it just feels like my pubic bones like being stretched in half. It hurts so bad. And I think that's caused by a hormone called relaxin that increases when you're pregnant. So it causes like your bones and joints to be all loose and stuff. So that's, and then the baby's like sitting on top of your pelvis. So that is what causes the pain. Also, like the muscles around my stomach are sore as well, just from the expansion and like a little bit of tearing of the muscles. So that's not fun, and that's what I'm going through right now, and it's only gonna get worse. And as the baby grows, a lot of things are going to be affected. First of all, they might be right on top of your bladder and they might kick it. So you'll probably feel the urge to go frequently urinate more. And then also they're expanding the other way, so they're pushing your stomach in, so you will get fuller faster, be able to eat less food, and you might get heartburn because it's like pushing your stomach acid up more. So yeah, all kinds of fun things right there. Another thing I've been led to believe, when it's your first baby, you're pretty much gonna go over your due date. But that's not the case, because with Cassian, he came at 37 weeks instead of 40 weeks, because I was already prepared to go over 40 weeks, because everywhere I read it said that well, babies normally, most of them don't come exactly on the 40-week due date anyways, but it also said that as the firstborn, they'll probably go over the 40 weeks. So yeah, I was really surprised when my water broke at 37 weeks with my first kid. So that just tells you, you should probably be you should probably have your hospital bag packed well before the 40-week mark. So I would recommend maybe like 35 weeks-ish or before. Oh yeah, another thing is, when you are pregnant, your libido could either go up or down or stay the same, I guess. But it definitely went down for me. So sorry, Will. So yeah, and then the hormones, you're probably gonna be not really the nicest to your husband while you're pregnant, and that's okay, you're growing a baby. And also, your water can break before any contractions start. That's what happened to me. Yeah, so my water broke at 37 weeks, but my contractions didn't start on their own. They had to induce me. So normally, when you go to the hospital and you don't have contractions, or your contractions are too far apart, they'll send you home. But if you go to the hospital and your water has broken but no contractions, they will still admit you right away. And then, so that's it, I think, for the body functions and physical symptoms part. I'm going to go into the like doctor's visit part. So first thing I did not know is when you call into the doctor's office to let them know that you're pregnant, the first thing they're going to ask you is when was the first day of your last period, because that's kind of how they keep track of how far along you are. So if you're trying to conceive, just make sure you note the date, so for whenever the doctor asks you. And apparently, when they date your pregnancy, they date it from the first day of your last period. So when they tell you you're like 8 weeks along, your baby's actually only 6 weeks old, because the first 2 weeks you're just ovulating. You're not actually pregnant. So I never knew that. That's kind of weird, and does not seem like a very accurate way to date a pregnancy. So right now I'm 29 weeks, but this baby has only been there for 27 weeks. So I thought that was a little interesting. So your baby's actually born around 38 weeks after conception. And then once you call your doctors to let them know that you are pregnant, they'll like ask you for your period question, and then they'll kind of gauge how far along you are. But they normally don't want to see you until you're like 6 or 8 weeks pregnant, because the first doctor's appointment you will get a ultrasound to find the baby's heartbeat. So if you go too early, they may not be able to find it. And also if you go too early and they can't find it with just the regular ultrasound on the belly, you might have to do a transvaginal one where they stick it up there. I had to do that with Cassian, and I mean, that's not fun. So, and then speaking of ultrasounds, I was surprised that throughout this whole pregnancy process, if you're not like high risk, you only get 2 ultrasounds. Well, I only got 2 ultrasounds. First was at the 8-week mark where they look for the heartbeat, and then next one is at the 20-week mark where you do the anatomy scan. That's when you find out the sex if you want to, and then they will screen for like the genetic diseases like Down syndrome and stuff like that. So I thought I was going to be able to see the baby like every time, so it was kind of disappointing when it was just going to be 2 times. Oh yeah, so nowadays the gender of the baby can be found out as early as 8 weeks through a blood test. So you don't have to actually wait until the 20-week ultrasound, which is nice. That's what we did for both of these babies, because I just can't wait. And then these doctor's appointments can get quite boring, because during your 3rd trimester you have to go like every 2 weeks, and then eventually you have to go like every week. But you just go there, and then they kind of measure your stomach to make sure your baby's growing, and then they do like your weight and blood pressure, and then it's quite boring. There's I don't know, especially the second time around, I feel like it's almost a waste of time. But I know it's not. It's good for the baby. If anything was wrong, they will be able to catch it. But just know that it's not going to be exciting every time, because you're not going to be seeing the baby every time. They will do the Doppler thing where you can hear the heartbeat, but that is about the only exciting part of those appointments. And then around the 28-week mark, you have to do a 1-hour glucose test, which you drink that sugary drink. But I didn't know that if you fail that one, you have to do a 3-hour one, and that sounds terrible. So I only had to do it once with Cassian, so I hope I only had to do it once this time as well. And then I also read online that during your 3rd trimester, or when you can start feel the baby move, you should count your baby's kicks every day around the same time. And then if you notice like a decrease in the kicks or something, you should call your doctor. But that just seems really stressful to me. Like, what if the baby is just like sleepy that day around that time? So I haven't done that. Like, if I haven't felt the baby move in a while, I'll probably be worried, but I don't count it like regularly. But I feel like I would just know if something was wrong, hopefully. But I think that would just cause me extra stress. Last section, I'm just gonna say some miscellaneous random stuff. So first is, no one told me that non-alcoholic beers and non-alcoholic wines are really nasty. They're not good. I don't like them. Yeah, I've tried a couple and nothing tastes good. I would literally rather just drink water. So if you guys have any good brands, please send them my way. So since we only got the 2 ultrasounds with the doctor's office, we decided to get like a 4D ultrasound through like this company called Clearsight Ultrasound or something. All they do is like baby ultrasounds, and I feel like it was not worth the money, because the pictures were still super blurry and they looked nothing like what Cassian looked like when he was born. But for first-time parents, it's still something that's very exciting, I guess. But in my opinion, it was not worth the money. And last thing I'm just gonna leave you guys with is, I wish I had known to kind of prepare for how close you want the babies, like if you're planning to have multiple babies, because we were pregnant with Cassian, and then I kind of already knew we wanted to have our kids close together, but then for some reason I didn't think about it. So when we bought like all the baby gear and stuff, we didn't think about to make sure to get something that's adaptable for two, especially like the stroller, to make sure it's compatible with like an extra part, and then you can put another seat on top or something. So now we have to get like a whole new stroller system, so that's something to keep in mind. Anyways, that was a lot of info, and some of it was a little TMI. I apologize for that. But I feel like a lot of these things I really wish I would have known, and also to document so I can look back up on this and see all these unpleasant things that pregnancy has caused, so I don't try to convince myself I need another baby, because I just want 2 babies. I think this is going to be my last pregnancy. But yeah, so if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new or have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and then I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!